Hello, welcome to Stamp Designs with Denise. I'm Denise Johnson, an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up. I'm located in Bedford, New Hampshire. Welcome. I'm happy to have you watching me, either live or in replay. I show this on sorry, I seem to be tripping over my own tongue today. I show this in Facebook Live and every Monday at 1 p.m. and then it'll be left on Facebook for you to view, and then I also post it to YouTube as well. And so it seems like lately I've had a huge increase of viewers on YouTube, so welcome and thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel and watching and commenting. I really appreciate it. Your likes and your comments help me build my business, and I usually do a raffle every single week for people that comment or share on my Facebook page, and then send them a little something in the mail. So I've decided that I'm going to do 2 raffles every week. Now I'm going to do one for people that comment and share on Facebook, and then also another one for the people that are commenting on YouTube for me. So if you comment between now and the following, I guess maybe Monday morning, you'll be entered into a raffle. And what I'm going to do is I will send you, if you win the raffle, there'll be 1 winner for Facebook, 1 winner for YouTube. I will send you the 3 cards that we are making today. So so just watch for that, and I will, if I do not have your mailing address, I will just send you a quick email or note on YouTube or Facebook asking you to send me a private message that includes your mailing address, and I will stick those into the mail to you. So thank you everybody for helping me out and watching and commenting. If you're interested in placing an online order, I'd love to have your business. Every month I have a hostess code that you can use if your order is $150. And if it's over $150, then don't use the hostess code, and you will want to take the rewards and use those for yourself. You can visit my blog for pictures and measurements of the cards that I make. It is stampdesignswithdenise.net. If you place an order with me, at the end of the month, I always send out a PDF that I email it. It includes exclusive projects that I and some other demonstrators put together, and the only place you'll see those projects is in that exclusive PDF. And then also, if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber of mine, I also send out a PDF that contains alternate projects for Paper Pumpkin for that month. So I think that's the business part of it that I needed to get done. I hope everybody is doing well. And I wasn't on last week. I went to go visit my mother. She is a snowbird, so she lives in New Hampshire for half the year and then lives in Florida for the other half of the year. So I spent a couple days with her last week and then drove her to the airport, and she got down to Florida and will now be spending the winter down in Florida. So thank you for everybody for your comments last week when I wasn't able to do my Facebook Live. So I'm gonna switch my camera around now, and we're gonna get started on our projects. I'm going to be using the Warm and Toasty stamp set today, which comes out of the mini catalog. So let's get you set up here, and I will get started with that. Okay, let me get this stuff out of the way and straighten you out for sure. Okay, that looks pretty good. I hope it's not gonna move while I'm doing this. Okay, a little bit more housekeeping. The Paper Pumpkin for December will be Berry Comforting. It is to create warm and encouraging cards with the December kit. It contains enough supplies to create 12 comforting cards and coordinating envelopes. So it'll be sweet and simple sentiments that can be used for a variety of occasions. And Paper Pumpkin is our monthly crafting subscription kit. You receive a different box every single month. Each month has a theme. So Berry Comforting is the theme for December, and you would need to subscribe by December 10th if you are interested in receiving this Paper Pumpkin box. There is a link, I believe, in this video, and there is also will be a link on my blog. Currently, Stampin' Up! Is offering the Curvy Celebrations early release bundle. So this bundle contains the Quite Curvy bundle, which is the stamp set and the curvy dies, Curvy Christmas stamp set, and the Classic Christmas Designer Series paper. I'm going to make a card today that's going to use the curvy dies in one of the sentiments from Curvy Christmas stamp set. Last week I attended the convention on stage at home for Stampin' Up! And so if you're interested in joining and becoming a discount shopper or demonstrator, please reach out to me and let me know. These are the catalogs that will be coming out January 5th. And as you can see, I have all my pages marked already. And so I can only show you the covers. If you become a demonstrator, though, you would have access to these right now, and you could do a pre-order starting December 1st with products from these. So let me get that stuff out of the way, and we're going to get started here with our Warm Toasty stamp set. So this is in the August to December mini catalog. It is on page 42. So we're going to be using this stamp set and make some really cute cards with these little Arctic animals. Very whimsical. Not your traditional Christmas cards, but they'll be fun and whimsical. So the first card I'm going to make is going to be a reindeer card. So these are my supplies. Let me kind of get everything out of my bucket, I guess. And then I'll tell you what we're going to be using. Okay. So I have, for my supplies, I have a Whisper White envelope. I have Mossy Meadow. And let me look at my cheat sheet here so I know what my measurements are. They are 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have another piece of Mossy Meadow that is 2 7/8 by 2. I have a piece of this Designer Series paper, which comes from the Heartwarming Hugs Designer Series paper. And this is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. I have a piece of Whisper White that has been cut to 1 7/8 by 2 3/4. I also have a 1-inch scrap. My card base is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and I have scored that at 4 1/4. And then I have a scrap piece of that Designer Series paper that we're going to use to decorate the envelope with. So this is both of those sheets come from this Heartwarming Hugs Designer Series paper. So you can see the patterns, your traditional green and red with that. So let's see. I'm just going to score this first and then get it set aside. I will put my envelope and the extra Designer Series paper aside. So let's do our stamping. So I'm going to need my white papers and I think maybe my envelope too. So for this, I'm going to stamp this really cute little reindeer, and I am stamping him in the Memento Tuxedo Black because I'm going to use Stampin' Blends to color him in. But when I saw him, I really liked his big nose, and I thought that it would be really cute if it was red. So I have a Q-tip, and I'm just going to wet it a little bit here with my chamois, and I'm going to take the black ink off of his nose very carefully. And then I'm going to use a real red marker. And I don't know if you know this, but you can use your markers to color on your red rubber stamps, and it works out pretty good. So if you just want a part of your stamp to be a certain color, or you don't have that ink, you could use your Stampin' Right markers to color that in. So I've colored in his nose red, and now we're just going to stamp him right in the middle of this Whisper White piece of paper. And there we go. So see, so now he has this adorable little red nose. So now what I would do is I would take my Stampin' Blends and color him in. So I use the Light and Dark Cinnamon Cider to color in his antlers and his hooves. I use the Light and Dark Soft Suede to color in the reindeer part of him. And then I have the Real Red Light and Dark that I would color in his bow. But I think watching someone color on video is time consuming. And so I have already, through the magic of video, colored him all in ahead of time, see, with his little red nose. So I will color this one in later, but for now, we're just gonna go right to the one that I've already got done. And we will continue working on this card. I'm gonna clean off this reindeer stamp and set that aside. And now I'm gonna do my sentiment, which is Sharing Christmas Cheer. And I'm gonna stamp that in the Real Red. And this is my 1-inch scrap paper. So I'm gonna sort of do that right on the edge here of this, on the right side, like that. Came out pretty straight. And let's see, I am going to trim this maybe about 1 inch or so out. And then we're going to use this delightful tag topper punch and punch that out. Let's see if I didn't leave myself enough to hold it. Okay, there we go. Kind of make sure it's in there straight. Punch it. Oh, looks like I didn't punch all the way. There we go. Okay. So then while I have my ink out, I'm going to, as I said, we're going to put this on the back here. Maybe I'll do that. But on the front of my envelope, I'm just going to stamp a couple of these little snowflakes. Maybe down here in the corner. And we're going to also put some in the inside of our card. Maybe like that. And then we should do an inside sentiment. We'll do the Warm and Toasty wishes to you. So I'm going to get my black back out and put that right in the middle. There we go. Okay, so now we have all of our stamping done. So we can set our inks aside and clean off our stamps. I am going to use these again, so I'm cleaning them because I'm going to use them on the other cards that we're making. Put my snowflakes and my other sentiment. So there we go, everything's cleaned off. And I am going to attach this to my envelope to finish off my envelope. So I'm going to use just a little bit of this glue. So right around the edge here, just very lightly. And then so this piece of paper is, I think it's a little bit bigger than 5.5 across and maybe 2 3/4 wide, and that covers, as you can see, that covers this envelope flap very nicely. And then we just go around and we just follow along our envelope flap. Trim that around and there we go. Now our envelope is decorated and done, so we'll put that there so we don't misplace it. And I am going to layer this reindeer onto my mossy meadow layer. And then I have this double-stitched satin ribbon in real red. And what I want to do is I'm going to wrap it around my designer series paper. I kind of want it to look like a package. So probably cut about 5.5 inches or so there. And I'm going to tape that on. And then I want to go this way with this one, so maybe that's about 4.5 or so inches that way. Okay, so I'm going to actually attach this now to this mossy meadow layer, and then we will finish the front. Now I want to take a bow, tie a bow here. Okay, bear with me here. It's coming. Okay. It doesn't want to stay tied, I think. Okay. So, let me just trim my edges down. And I'm going to put that right there on my package, and use some glue dots. So I usually add one right in the middle, and then I'm going to add some on my bows so that it just gives it extra stability and it stays where it's supposed to stay. There we go. Now I have my little tag, and I'm going to take a few inches of this Forever Greenery trim. Maybe about 4 inches or so. And just tie a little knot here. Pull it through. It's okay. It sort of frays and stuff, but that's okay. That's what I want it to do. Let me move this out of the way, and we are going to attach our reindeer with some dimensionals. And put him here. And then our sentiment is kind of going to get tucked right up into our bow here, like that. There we go. And now we can, let me see, I'm going to add some sparkle, but I think I'm going to add it to my card base first. So we'll get our stamping seal, and we will attach this to the front of our card. And now I have some wonderful gems. And let me see where my take your pick tool went to. And I don't know if I want to add the clear ones or the red ones, but I guess maybe we'll do the red ones. We'll just put some of these around our little reindeer. And there we go. So here we have our card and coordinating envelope. So that is our first one done. Let me put it aside, clean up a little bit, and we will get started on our next one. So I like that little trick with the Q-tip, so for cleaning his nose off. So actually here was one that I did where I did not make the red nose. I just left it black. So I guess tell me which one you like better. Do you like the red-nosed reindeer, Rudolph, or you just like the regular traditional looking reindeer? So that was that card. So let's move on to our next one. So this next card is going to use an embossing folder. So let me get all my stuff out. So we're going to use some re-inkers and do something a little bit different with this embossing folder. So I'm going to need to bring up my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I don't have a big enough desk for all my stuff, I guess. So this is one of the Winter Snow embossing folder. So when you use it on a piece of Whisper white paper, I don't know if the video shows up the detail, And then this is, I think, a balmy blue piece of paper. So as you can see, it just embosses some very delicate, detailed snowflakes. But I didn't want to just do the traditional white, so I have a piece of Whisper White paper that is 4 by 5 1/4. And what I'm going to do is, now this that says Stampin' Up on the front is considered the front of the embossing folder. So I'm going to add color to my embossing folder, and then we're going to emboss it. So I will show you what that looks like. So I have these little Stampin' Up cells, plain Stampin' spots, uninked stamping spots, and then re-inkers. So what you want to do is you can buy one of these and you can create these little ink spots just by squirting some ink on them. So I have Highland Heather. This is the one I just made. And then the other one that I have is Pacific Point. So I am going to kind of just drag these and add some color to my embossing folder in random spots. So now I'm going to come in with the Pacific Point. And maybe I'll add some more purple here, like this. And now what I do is I have a sponge, because when I emboss it, I don't want all these like rough lines to show. So I'm just going to come in with my sponge and kind of soften those lines. And maybe at the edges blend the blue and the purple together. So I don't want it to be, so that just kind of like softens it a little bit. And now I am going to very carefully just lay my paper down. You don't want to drag your paper across or anything. Place my paper on there, close it up. I'm just going to set it aside right there for a minute while I grab my cut and emboss machine. I'm going to bring this in. And then I'm going to make my sandwich. So I have my base plate. I have a number 3 plate. I'm going to put my embossing folder on here. I'm going to put my top plate on. And I'm going to put this through. Okay, so here's my embossing folder. Let me just get all this other stuff back out of the way. And we will open it up and look and see what it looks like. So there we go. So now what I will do is as you can see, there's still some ink and stuff on here. So I will just take this to my sink and rinse it off, maybe pat it dry a little bit, and then just let it air dry. The ink rinses right off. Doesn't leave a mess or anything like that. Doesn't leave it stained. It cleans up very, very nicely. So now this is our background with our snowflakes. I just wanted it to be a little bit different. So let's get my stamps and all my other stuff back in here. So I have the rest of my supplies. So I have this on Whisper White paper. I used the stitch rectangle shapes to cut it out. So it is, it's about 3.5 by 2 1/4 if you want to cut it out, if you don't want to use the dies to cut it out with. And we are going to stamp our skating polar bear right on that. So I'm going to try and get him right in the middle of that. There we go. Okay, now let me set him aside. And very quickly, we have a Stampin' Blends in Misty Moonlight and also purple, nope, sorry, these are Highland Heather. And so I am going to actually just quickly color him in. I think I'm going to use the light one. And just add some of these lines. So these Stampin' Blends have a nub on one side and then sort of a brush on the other side. So they color very, very nicely. This one didn't have as much coloring as the reindeer, so I thought I could just quickly get these colored in on my video. Try and stay in the lines. Okay. So let me set those aside. And I'm going to use this, I really like this purple posy ribbon. It comes from the Playing with Patterns ribbon combo pack, which also has Coastal Cabana and Night of Navy colors in it, but we're just using the purple posy. And I am going to tie this all the way around here, and then I want to tie a bow. So I think I maybe need probably about 18 inches or so of that. And we will tie a bow right here. Trim this one down a little bit more. And then we are going to add our polar bear right here with the Stampin' Dimensionals. Okay, and now we need a sentiment. So I had a piece of 3/4 inch Highland Heather, and I'm going to use Pacific Point. And my sentiment is going to be the Warm Toasty wishes to you. So we'll stamp that on there. Let's see how I did. Pretty good. Looks centered on there. set this aside, and I'm going to trim this, and then I had the Banners Pick-a-Punch that I'm going to use on the end of that, and we'll use some dimensionals on that as well. And there's that, and then I'm going to, this is my card base. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. We'll decorate this in our envelope before I attach my card front. This way, if I mess up on the stamping, I can just grab a new card base and I haven't ruined the whole card. So Sharing Christmas Cheer is going to go on the inside. And then I have those snowflakes again. We're going to put some of these on the inside of our envelope. I'm sorry, on the inside of our card. And then for our envelope, I actually have this little baby polar bear, and we're going to kind of put him peeking up from the front there, and put some more of those snowflakes on the back. There we go. Now let's attach our card front. There's Stampin' Seal. And there we go. So there's our next card using the skating polar bear in our envelope. Okay, oh, you know what? I had some sparkles for this too. I had some snowflakes. So here they are. Let me use my Take Your Pick tool, and we'll just put some snowflakes, maybe add some up here on those to give them some sparkle. There we go. Now we have some sparkle added to our card. Let's set that one aside and we'll work on our last card for today. Okay, let me get my ink, my stamps all cleaned off so that I don't forget when I go to make my next card that they haven't been cleaned off. Okay, so our last stamp set uses the Curvy Dies and the Curvy Christmas stamp set, which I mentioned earlier is on special. The Quite Curvy and the Curvy Dies will be in the January to June mini catalog coming out January 5th. But Stampin' Up! Has released these early so that you could get them now if you're interested in new product and you want to get started on using these. They also came out with the Curvy Christmas, which is only available through the end of December then, and also the Classic Christmas Designer Series paper. So this is going to be a fun shaker card. And I have a confession to make that Stampin' Up! Sells these really cute snowflake sequins, and I have them and I can't find them. I don't know if they fell off my desk and are sitting behind my desk, but I was looking for them right before this video started, and I cannot find where I put them anywhere. I'm sure a lot of people can relate. You're like looking for something and then you realize your glasses are like right on top of your head and you've been looking for them for hours. But so because I can't find them, I do have these, which were last year's snowflakes and sequins. So these are retired, but I'm going to use them. The card will still look the same. Just, you know, if you like it, Stampin' Up! Sells snowflake sequins. And I'm sure as soon as this video is over, I'm going to trip over them and find them and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're right there. So this card is going to use the Snowflake Splendor Designer Series paper. And these are the different patterns. And this is the one I'm going to be using. So we have Pacific Point, which is, where's my cheat sheet for this card? So the Pacific Point is 5 1/4 by 4. The Designer Series paper has been cut into 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And then I also had a Whisper white sheet that was 4 by 5 1/4 that I used the curvy dies to cut. And so I made, with the dotted die, I made these little swirls. So we're going to use these. I have a scrap piece of Whisper white paper. And then to make our shaker card, we're going to use these clear medium envelopes. So I'm going to use one of these envelopes. And then my card base is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and it's scored at 4 1/4. So let's get our shaker card made first. So what I want to do is I'm going to attach my Designer Series paper to the Pacific Point layer. And this is a card that someone demonstrated at my On Stage at Home convention. Not this particular card, but the shaker card style that I'm going to do. And so I want to get a piece of white scrap paper in here. And what I'm going to do, so my white piece of paper is sort of going to be like little snow mountains here. And trying to decide how to lay them. So what I'm going to do is I want to mark how high up on here my mountains will come. And I'll explain that when I do it. But so I'm going to take a piece of Terran tape and I'm going to run it across the front, sort of from there to there. And then I'm taking this, I'm going to peel this off, and I'm going to insert it in here carefully so that my Terran tape doesn't stick. And I want to get it down flush into the corner. No, now I got it stuck. Okay. I know that ripped on the bottom, but that's okay because that's not going to show. So I want it to lie nice and flat. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to peel this off and nope, I'm not going to peel that off, sorry. I'm going to fold this over and tape it. So what I've done is I've just made this little pocket for my card base, and I didn't get it in there straight, so we're going to tape over this side too. Okay, so the reason I put that in there is because I want to put my snowflakes up on the top, and I don't want them resting underneath where my snow hills are going to go. So we fill that up with our sequins. And then I'm going to peel this off, fold it over. And now we have our shaker card. See? Okay, so now my mountains are going to go and get attached on here. So I am going to use Terran tape because it adheres and sticks very nicely to the clear envelope. So as you can see, I kind of ripped it there, but you're not going to see it because this front part now is going to go over that, and no one's even going to know that I did that. Well, so now we're doing paper on paper, so you don't have to use the Terran tape if you don't want. You could use just your regular Stampin' seal. So match that up down there. And that's our shaker card. So this is going to get attached to our card base. But first I have this little snowman and I want to put him on one of our snow hills. So I have let me find basic gray. Okay, so I have basic gray ink. I'm going to stamp him on our scrap paper. And then what I would do is I would use my paper snips and I would fussy cut him out, which through the magic of TV, I've already done. We're going to use a little dimensional and we will put him on our mountain. Just set him down in here like that. And then I want to do some Christmas cheer. So I'm going to stamp this on a scrap piece of paper. And I just wanted to say Christmas cheer. So I am going to use my scissors and I'm going to cut out the sentiment that I want. And let's see, we'll use a dimensional and we'll put this on the front of our card. And this is our card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And let's stamp the inside. Here's to a cool Yule, and we'll do that in the Pacific Point as well. And throw in some more of those cute little snowflakes. And yes, I have an envelope here too, so we will put our snowflakes on that as well. Now, going back to using my tear and tape, I'm going to attach this to my card base. This tear and tape is great for 3D projects and heavier card stocks. It really is very secure. So let's just peel off our tops, and we will get this adhered to the card base. So, and I don't have any extra sparkle to add to these because I think with the snowflakes and the sequins, it has enough sparkle. And there we go. So that is our fun shaker card. And our envelope. And let's get our other cards in here that we made. Our polar bear. So this is my November host code. If you're interested in placing an order in November, I'd appreciate it if you use the host code. But if your order is over $150, don't use the host code. Just take the rewards for yourself. All of these measurements and pictures will be found on my blog at stampdesignswithdenise.net. So thank you so much for watching, and remember to leave a little sparkle wherever you go.